So why are most people broke? I'll tell you what it's not. It's not because of immigration, it's not because of the government, and it's not because supermarkets are charging you for bags. Payday comes and it disappears faster than your first beverage on a Friday evening. Look, I'm not a multi-millionaire and I'll never claim to be a guru. I'm just a bloke who's learned the hard way how not to stay broke. I've been a student, a backpacker, an employee, and a full-time business owner, and these are the lessons I wish I'd had when I was still scraping by. First thing you need to know is, yeah, it is hard sometimes, and you're not alone feeling that, but there is hope. It might feel like you're stuck playing a game that you've never got given the rules for, but it doesn't have to be that way. We are the stories we tell ourselves. If you keep saying, I'm bad with money, you're not describing yourself, you're programming yourself. So I used to be a smoker, right? And twice when I tried to quit, the story I was telling myself was, I'm a smoker and I'm trying to quit. And surprise, surprise, it didn't work. I didn't quit. Then on the third attempt, when someone offered me a cigarette, I'd say, nah, no thanks, I don't smoke. And that one line changed everything. The struggle disappeared because it wasn't a decision that I was having to make every time. I wasn't trying to quit, I just was a non-smoker. Same with exercise. If you say, I'm not really an exercise person, every workout feels optional. But if you say, I'm someone who trains regularly, I am that person, you drag yourself to the gym even when you don't feel like it because it's just who you are, it's your identity. And it's exactly the same with money. I used to be really bad. Like I used to live like a king for 2 days and then a pauper for 2 weeks, like struggling, clinging on until the next payday, until I changed my story. If you keep repeating, I'm bad with money, you'll keep acting like someone who's bad with money, just blowing cash, scraping your way through the last week before payday, constantly broke. But flip the story to I'm good with money, or even like I'm getting better with money, and the tough decisions will start feeling easier. Suddenly it's not, should I blow $50 on a takeaway or save that $50 or invest it? The answer's automatic because you're no longer someone who's like just trying to save. You are a saver, or an investor if you prefer. You're someone who's good with money and you make good money decisions that will benefit you in the medium and long term. Like that's now your identity. And we've all struggled changing habits before, but when you change the story you tell yourself, the habits fall in line. Does that make sense? Like you change your identity and then your behavior follows. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford. And here's another big mindset shift that might be needed. Blaming everything external, okay? So your boss, the economy, immigration, the Reserve Bank, your ex. That's what psychologists call an external locus of control. Fancy words for life just happens to me, yeah? It's like standing in the rain and blaming the clouds instead of just like getting an umbrella. And I'm a Brit, like we come out of the womb moaning about the weather. But the second you say, okay, my situation might not be my fault, but it is my responsibility to fix, that's a superpower because it means you actually have the power to change it. Think about it. If you spend all day moaning like, I'm broke because of the government, I'm broke because of immigrants, does that improve your situation in any way at all? No, it doesn't. It just gives you like a sugar hit of outrage without actually fixing anything. Like taking responsibility isn't about guilt, it's about control. If you've got yourself into a hole, or even if you found yourself in a hole, not because of anything you've done, but if you take responsibility for fixing it, then you can, and you can figure a way out. And look, I get it. Everyone gets dealt a different hand, and some people have it brutally unfair. But even then, your best shot is to act like it's on you, because if it's yours to own, then it's yours to change. And that mindset shift will instantly put you ahead of like 90% of people still waiting for someone else to come and save them. By the way, if you're finding this useful so far, then definitely hit the subscribe because I post videos like this once a week. It costs you nothing, but it makes the YouTube algorithm think I'm slightly less of a muppet. All right, this one's a classic, but let me put my spin on it. You get a raise, right? Let's say you get a raise at your day job. What happens? Suddenly the Corolla's gone and you're financing a shiny new Raptor. Your wallet's still in the Corolla, but your ego's already doing donuts in a ute that the bank technically owns, right? And once that sugar rush wears off, money's still tight because your lifestyle has sprinted to keep up with your new higher income. It's like running on a treadmill that speeds up every time you get a raise. You're sweating more, but you're not actually going anywhere. You're not actually feeling any more comfortable financially. Now, don't get me wrong, it's fine to treat yourself. We recently moved to a bigger place because we needed the space. And look, you still need things like clothes, despite what, you might hear people say, "I'll never spend any money at all," because, you don't want to look like a twat, but just don't go mental. If your expenses rise slower than your income, then you can stash that gap into investing. And in a few years, you'll be laughing then, because buying the toys comfortably instead of choking on the repayments is going to feel much better. Warren Buffett said, if you buy things you don't need, soon you'll have to sell things you do need. Or in like Aussie terms, buy the jet ski too early and you'll be listing it on Marketplace the second the rego's due. So the fix is pay yourself first, so saving and investing, and then bills second, then whatever's left for Netflix, Uber Eats, or a cheeky gadget, whatever you want. And let's be real, everyone blames things like Netflix, right? Like it's the budget killer, but it's 20 bucks. Keep Netflix, I don't care. It's the $80,000 ute loan that's gonna get you. And one more thing, if you plan to start a business one day, or you're already running a side business, then remember, it's gonna be a whole lot harder to leave your day job if you've chained yourself to a pile of personal loans. Freedom and debt just do not mix. They're like the worst enemies. So I'll never judge someone who's already wealthy for splashing cash. It's completely up to them. It's nobody else's business. They've earned it. What they buy is, it's as long as it's ethical, don't care. But if you're not wealthy yet and you're spending like you already are, that's Gucci taste on a Kmart budget. So it's like planting seeds, but instead of then watering them and waiting for them to grow, you're digging them up every weekend to make confetti. Wealth comes from delayed gratification. So putting off the instant dopamine hits so that future you can actually enjoy the nice stuff comfortably. But if you're spending more than you should just to look rich, you're making it 10 times harder to actually be rich. And if you're just trying to impress strangers who you don't even know, that's dumb, let's be honest. And if you're trying to impress your mates, then either A, you don't need to because they like you for you, not what watch or handbag you've got, or B, they're rubbish friends anyway and they belong in the bin. So I did some research on this, and most people in Australia are one flat tire or busted fridge away from proper panic stations. Nearly 43%, or over 9 million people basically, have less than $1,000 in their bank account. And the average balance for that group is just $215, right? That's barely enough for like a week's groceries, let alone a proper emergency. So having no buffer like that, it's kind of like surfing, but without that little rope that attaches to your leg. So if you fall off or get a wipe out, whatever you're called, wipe out, then you're swimming after your board as it floats further and further out into sea. You've got no safety net. Even a grand tucked away in like a boring savings account is enough to turn a major panic into like more of an inconvenience. It's not sexy and it's not fun, but neither is begging for a loan to fix your fridge or your flat tire or whatever. Or worse, you start whacking it on credit cards and then you're paying stupid interest. You know where I'm going with this, right? Every dollar you're paying in interest is a dollar that could have been compounding and building true wealth. And this one's close to my heart, as regular viewers may know. If your whole financial plan is a 9-to-5 job and hoping for a pay rise, you're playing football with one leg. Like, jobs have their place, absolutely. But being over-reliant on one is brutal for both your bank balance and your self-esteem. You're basically waiting for a manager to decide if you're worth more. And yeah, you can switch jobs, you can negotiate hard, maybe get a 10 grand pay bump, but to what end? Like, I mean, that's after tax, that's about $140 per week, which is nice, sure, but it's not exactly empire building. Unless you invest that 140 every week, which sort of proves the point. Like, you need to be doing other stuff as well, and I'll get onto that in a second. Unless you're earning stupid money, it's always going to be difficult to get properly wealthy unless you have other income streams. Like, I'm obviously biased towards having a side business because that's what this channel's all about, but it could be as simple as just having some investments. Like, property if you can afford it. If not, then shares or some ETFs on the stock market. You can do some freelancing. There will always be something that you can do. And one income stream, it's just fragile. Not to mention, like, you can lose it at any moment. Like, but add a side hustle to that, add some investing, or maybe it's freelancing. That's what sort of gives you some breathing room and like a buffer. And also it's just better for your self-esteem that you're not completely reliant on another human being for your own sort of, I guess, safety and your family's safety, right? So a job pays the bills, but multiple streams build wealth, which leads on perfectly to the next one. Too many people treat investing like it's optional. I can tell you right now, it's 100% not optional. It's the only way your money grows while you sleep. Albert Einstein, who from what I hear was fairly smart, he called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And he said, he who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't understand it pays it, right? So you're either like on the compounding train, or you're on the track that the train's just like rolling over, okay? So you're either making money from compound interest, or if you're not smart about it, you're losing money from the interest. So most Aussies will happily punt 50 bucks on a same game multi every weekend. That's money that disappears faster than my hairline, right? Imagine if instead of gambling, you just toss that same 50 into an index fund every week. That's like planting a tree that's going to drop money fruit for decades. And investing doesn't have to be flashy. Like, it's not Wolf of Wall Street that over time, the boring stuff works. So why do most people stay broke? It's not immigration. It's not bloody paper bags that cost 30 cents at Woolworths. It's lifestyle creep. No buffer, Gucci taste on a Kmart budget, chasing the quick wins instead of like boring or sensible investing, blaming everyone else, telling themselves the wrong story. If you can fix all of those things, you're already ahead of 90% of people. And for that reason, you should probably watch one of these next. If you found this useful and you want to buy me a pint, hit the like button because it's cheaper.